Welcome back, everybody, to the Daily Racing Show here at RacePlazaMedia. And today, as always, we'll be talking about all the racing we watched this past weekend. Let's get into it. All right, so first things first, we wanted to bring up that the Formula 4 UAE Championship has been completed.
Yes.
And Freddie Slater has taken the win.
Yes, congratulations, Freddie.
Yes, he's won the overall championship for Formula 4 UAE. Then we wanted to quickly mention that we didn't watch any Daytona 500 because it was postponed due to lots and lots of rain in Florida.
Again, I mean, not only was the Clash postponed here in California due to rain, now the Daytona 500 in Florida was postponed due to rain. So
I think the only saving grace has been postponed for Monday.
Yes.
So which is the day this video is coming out. And in the US, fortunately, it is a national holiday. So I'm hoping that at least the people who bought tickets have the day off
to be able to attend.
Yeah.
However, we did see online that on Saturday at the Daytona 500, there was the Craftsman Truck Championship or race. And there was a huge accident that happened during the last lap of the race. So hopefully we wish the drivers all the best. Hopefully if they're injured, they recover very fast.
Fast recovery, yeah.
So our thoughts go out to those drivers.
Yes. And then also speaking of rain, this weekend was the Bathurst 12-hour endurance race in Australia, and that was also
affected by rain.
It was like very chaotic race. We ended up watching like the last 2 hours of the race, and specifically also we like really paid close attention because it was a little bit later already for us in the day, the last 30 minutes, and it was crazy good. It was so exciting. Like between first place and second place, there's a 2-second gap. So that is nothing. That is like one bad corner and you're,
I mean, it was absolutely fantastic, especially I think it was during the last 5 or 6 minutes at that kind of point marker. There was this big, I mean, they were bunched up a little bit. We had first place was out a couple, I think it was at that point, it was like 5 seconds ahead. And then we had a group of around 4 to 5 drivers close together, but nobody was really passing anybody until suddenly there was, I think it was the Porsche. Yes, the Porsche made the first move. It was a blue Porsche making the first move, and then the BMW tried to make moves, but then the little sneaky Audi who was waiting in the back of that pack suddenly made the move
made the killer move and
smart.
Jumped 2 positions and made it onto the podium, finished in P3. The first place had a big gap to the second place, like 5 seconds, 6 seconds, due to the second place and 3, 4, and 5 getting caught up in traffic. Overall in Bathurst, just real quick, there are 6 different classes racing.
Yes.
And so they kind of got caught up in traffic, so the leader was able to build out, his lead even further. And then I was like, the Audi seems to be kind of falling off, and I was like, okay, there's no way it's gonna catch. If anything, it will be P3 will be battled out between the Porsche and the BMW. But then the Audi was like,
don't cut me out just yet.
Not on my watch. And what a killer move that was. And it's crazy. This happened literally in the last 5 minutes of a 12-hour race.
I mean, it was absolutely nuts. But then also, even when the Audi passed, I thought, oh, well, the Porsche is still gonna pass him.
Yeah, because the Porsche was so fast on the straight.
On the straight, and there's a couple longer straights in Bathurst, so I was like, oh yeah. But then, of course, traffic happened as well, so the Audi was able to maneuver smartly and also create some space between them, so it worked out for him.
And defend his position,
it was absolutely fun to see. And then also, which I thought was cool to see, was that the BMW team, Valentino Rossi was one of the drivers, so a very famous MotoGP rider. He was driving in that endurance race, which is not the first time he's done endurance races, but it was just kind of cool to see because his team was competing for a podium place. And I mean, that BMW looked aggressive, not just from
just the way it looked,
because
it looks like a bully.
Yeah, it really
if you compare to all the other cars on track, we talked about this, Mercedes, the Porsche, even the Audi looks very sleek and like a sports car, and then the BMW is like boom, you know.
That's very true. But it was really cool to see, because I feel like the BMW, we were like, oh, he's gonna make the move any second now, and then the Porsche made the move on the corner. He dived on the inside, and then the Audi came. And it was like,
the Audi was like,
later,
you guys keep fighting, and I'm just gonna pass both of you guys.
It was
goodbye. And then
really, really cool to see.
I mean, to be fair, there was also like a bunch of like what is it, safety cars.
Yeah,
and,
I mean, it's a 12-hour race. Lots
of
happened.
course, so that ended up like bunching up the field again. But yes, that ended up making the race super interesting and very competitive all the way to the end.
Yes.
So after the very exciting end of the Bathurst 12-hour, we jumped into watching Formula Regional Middle East Championship. We watched race 2 of the weekend. They also do 3 races like Formula 4. And we watched the 20 minutes of a 28-minute race. We missed like the first 8 minutes, and it was once again, it was crazy. It was so exciting. Not until they passed the finish line, you couldn't really tell who was gonna win it. You had a Thai driver actually leading the race for a long time. He did. Then he was kind of battling the second place. And then at some point, the race winner, Taylor Bernard, who's also racing in the same team, ended up overtaking all of those guys. And then, I mean, it was absolutely crazy, and it was super exciting. Also, the cool thing is with Taylor Bernard, we'll be seeing him in Formula 2 this year. Very cool that he kind of did this kind of like, I guess, as preparation for Formula 2, because it happens at the beginning of the preseason. Exactly. So very exciting.
I feel like I can definitely highly recommend watching it. I mean, we've talked about Formula 4 before. Now this was Formula Regional. And it's also like you have so many drivers on the track. They're all in the same vehicle. So it's really just based on your skill and maybe also setup and stuff, of course. But they're really close together. It's like this, it also sounds like this bee's nest or wasp nest, I feel, because there's so many of them so close together. So it's just
there's a lot of drivers on the field. I think it's like 30 or something like that.
But yeah, it was absolutely so fun to watch the whole time through. So if you've not watched it, or Formula 4, highly recommend it. It's on YouTube to watch
for free.
So definitely check it out. There's no reason for you not to check it out. So definitely take a look at it, especially also because it's bite-sized.
It is bite-sized, and I would say it's like you can have something on in the background, but it's really something you want to actively watch, because there's constantly overtaking and fighting for position happening. So it's not really something that you can just kind of, like a longer endurance race, you can kind of have on and then frequently like check in. No, you want to pay attention to it because it's so exciting and really awesome. The Formula Regional Middle East Championship has now concluded with Tuukka Taponen, a Finnish racer, winning the overall championship. So congratulations to him. Also very exciting. The commentator mentioned that his hometown has already prepared a little festival and stuff like that for him to come back to. So I'm very excited for him in general that this is happening. And then also really cool that you have a Finnish racer competing in the Middle East, you know. So yeah, it's overall really cool. I will say also the race finish. So it ended up actually being Mari Boya ended up coming technically second, but after crossing the finish line, there was a 5-second penalty applied, and because the field was stacked so closely, he ended up finishing 7th. So this is just to point out how close it was. A 5-second penalty threw him back so far. And
I mean, granted, 5 seconds is a lot in racing, period. But I mean, still, that's a lot.
It is. But I feel like if you think about like last season Formula 1 and stuff like that, you see a lot of times there's like a 5-second gap between like 6th and 5th or 3rd and 4th. So just to point out how closely stacked it is, how tight it is, it's just wonderful. And then you can watch it for free. I love that, you know?
So definitely check it out.
Please check it out.
The last thing that we watched was Rally Sweden.
You watched more of that than I did.
True, but still. It was, I mean, if you've been following our channel, you know that I've been falling in love with rally. I mean, because it's just absolutely insane what those people do. So this was the second World Rally Championship stop for the season. First one was in Monte Carlo a couple weeks ago. This time they were now in Sweden, which is the only fully snow and ice race of the rally calendar. So I was already intrigued that it was going to be on snow and ice, and we watched.
Sorry, just real quick, the landscape, very beautiful.
Very, very beautiful. I mean, that's already one reason to watch it, just to see beautiful landscape scenery.
Yeah.
It was all snow and ice, as mentioned, which was. It's just so fun to watch. I watched the first leg. I watched leg number 10, and then I also watched the final power stage, the Wolf stage at the end on Sunday. And it's so fun. It's so fun because it's not too long. Like for each of those 3 legs, I watched only Rally 1 cars competing, plus the one Swedish driver from Rally 2 who was really competing with Rally 1 and some of the stages, and because he was doing really, really well. Super short to watch. It's easy to watch.
We'll get into that in just a second.
On the phone, yeah. I mean, the Rally app.
So we were praising it like I think 2 or 3 weeks ago when we watched the original stage because it was fine. But now the TV app, and we just want to say this for transparency, we don't have any issues with any other apps on our smart TV at home. But what I don't understand is that when you get into, like, let's say the Formula 1 app, right? It will tell you, hey, this is the most recent race. Watch this, right? This will be the #1 recommendation, which makes perfect sense, right? And the WRC app does not do that.
No.
It will not show you. And then sometimes when you look up like the Sweden stage, it will show you from last year. I'm like, they need to upgrade their search engine, whatever recommendation. That's really the only thing we were both quite annoyed with
it kept constantly like freezing and locking up, so I had to go out and go back into it. So I ended up watching it on my phone, which worked perfectly. But then you can't stream it on the TV.
You can't like share it on
it blocks it. Anyways, the races were so fun. Also, I mean, it started off with the first leg. It was at night, a short sprint race, which was also, I mean, it's crazy to see. But a couple of things that I want to point out that I learned. A lot of them were glasses with yellow lenses.
Interesting. Okay, I saw that.
To help them with the visibility of the snow, because there were some stages, or on stage 10, there's moments where you couldn't tell the difference between your street, your lane, and the snowbanks on the side. It looked like one thing. So with the glasses, it helps differentiate a little bit. So it was really cool to know. And then also what I thought was really interesting, that they use the snowbanks sometimes if they kind of lost the back of it. They use the snowbank to kind of get it back into place.
Push you back into it.
So I thought that was really, really interesting.
That's awesome.
And it was super competitive. And for most of it, there was a couple of upsets on stage 9, which was, I believe, on Friday, where several of the top contenders had accidents. Because, I mean, it's snow and ice, anything can happen, especially, I mean, in a rally period.
Absolutely.
But they just like spun out. And then also on stage 10, contender for the first place overall for Rally Sweden got into a snowbank and just couldn't get back out, which ended up leading to Lappi winning the overall Rally Sweden. It's his first rally win in 6 years.
Wow, that's awesome. Congratulations.
Huge. Yeah.
Congratulations.
And then also Kalle came back. He's the one who won the last 2 overall World Rally Championships. He's just doing part-time this year.
Yes. We talked about this last time we watched
So
Rally.
he came back for the Rally Sweden, and he also did really well. He ended up winning the power stage, so he got some extra points there, but so good.
Yeah, very exciting.
So fun to watch. Yeah, so if you watch it on the phone.
Or watch it on the browser or something like that. But the TV app seems to be okay at the moment, working okay.
Yeah, exactly. It gave some headaches. My workaround ended up being that I started watching something on the phone, and then you could kind of watch it, like go to continue watching, and then it's a little bit more accessible and it wouldn't freeze up. But who knows if that's a long-term solution. It shouldn't be, because it should be much easier to watch, especially because you're paying for it.
Yes. But that is everything racing related that we watched this weekend. Thank you guys, first of all, so much for tuning in. Also, let us know in the comments down below what you guys were watching racing related this weekend. I know I'm very excited for next week because AMA Supercross is back.
Yes.
But yeah, once again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Like and subscribe, and we'll be seeing you guys here tomorrow at the Daily Racing Show.